Hi everyone, I'm Olivia. Let's talk books. As you can tell from the title, I'm brand new to BookTube, so let's dive into a BookTube newbie tag. Question 1, why did you start this channel? I'm starting this channel because I've always wanted a space where I could talk more in depth about books. I'm a pretty talkative person and I realized that I need to start this channel now or it's never going to happen. I actually almost started a BookTube channel back in 2021 and I think I've just been putting it off for so long and now's the right time. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? I'm a very intentional person and I definitely carry that intentionality over to my reading. I'm a big annotator and I've also had authors tell me that I ask good questions, which isn't something that I necessarily would attribute to myself, but it's interesting hearing it from somebody else. And I also average reading 100 books a year, which I do while being a mom to 2 young toddlers. I think I show that you can be busy, whether it's family, work, hobbies, and still find time for reading. Question 3, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I'm excited for finally just doing it. Finally starting a YouTube and doing the thing that I've always wanted to do, which is talk about books. Hence why I've always gone under the handle of Olivia's Book Talk. I'm also excited to be creating a new community here on YouTube, not just Instagram, not just TikTok. So that is something I would love to foster. Question 4, why do you love reading? The thing that I'm loving most about reading right now at this stage of my life is the conversations that come from reading. Why someone loved or hated a book, what resonated with them, what themes do they see and what do they connect with? And then being able to do that for myself and see what books do I like, what do I resonate with, what do I find powerful and moving and all the things. So I guess you could say I love reading because of the community while also maintaining it as an independent practice. Question 5, what book or series got you into reading? This might be an annoying thing to say, but I've always been a reader. I come from a family of readers, but I finally took ownership of being passionate about reading when I first read The Hunger Games in high school. I just remember so clearly freshman year, I got detention. The only time I ever got detention in high school. I was reading the first book for the first time. That was the fastest hour of my life. Obviously, it's an iconic series. It stands the test of time, but it genuinely was the first series that really made me connect with reading and want to be fully invested in a story and then talk about it with people. Question 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would stick with a classic and ask if they could have dinner with any 3 authors, dead or alive. Who would you want to have dinner with? I also love dinner parties, love the conversations that come in that environment. And I would want to know from the people that I watch here who they would want to talk to most. Question 7, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, getting caught up in my own head, who doesn't have imposter syndrome or insecurities, but I also think being a mom, maintaining something for yourself is pretty challenging, but reading isn't just a hobby. I do want to be showing up for everybody so we can talk about books and go deeper into reading and discussion. Question 8, when did you start reading? I know I somewhat already answered this, how I've always been a reader, and then I became a reader in high school. What I'm hearing a lot from people on TikTok and Instagram is that people fall off the wagon in college and come back to reading in their adult life. That's exactly what happened to me. I came back in the fall of 2021 and I fell back off when I had my second. I've been consistently reading since 2023 and now I'm here to stay. And it really does blow my mind that I average 100 books a year. Question 9, where do you read? Anywhere and everywhere. My rule of thumb is that I'm always reading and I just pick whichever format I can be reading in at that time. So if I'm doing chores, it's an audiobook. If it's nap time and quiet time, I can read physically. But because my time is so limited, I truly just try to make the most of every second that I have available to me. And yes, I do have time to doom scroll still, but in terms of physical location, I probably read on the couch the most and then just my bed. Question 10, what kind of books do you like to read? I'm a massive literary fiction reader. Every single year on Storygraph, literary is my #1 genre by a mile. I also read contemporary fiction, even though it does tend to also be literary fiction. And then this year, I've actually started dipping my toes into nonfiction more, which I'm actually really enjoying. This year I have the ambitious goal of reading 1-to-1 fiction and nonfiction, which is not happening. But I think a realistic goal is to have 25% of my reading be nonfiction and 75% be fiction. I really love literary awards, so fiction will kind of always take the lead. But if I had to choose my top 5 right now, they would be The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali, The Anthropocene Review by John Green, The Hunger Games by Suzanne. I think this will always be in my top 5 just because of the role it's played in my reading life. Martyr by Kaveh, Akbar, and right now my favorite book of all time is Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. Question 11, what does your book collection look like? I'm actually a minimalist book owner. While I read a lot, I actually don't own very many books. Safely say I own less than 100. It's mostly just this bookshelf right here. I do also have a book cart, but those are books that I call I'm not committed to. My physical TBR, books from publishers. I also have the books I want to unhaul on there, which you'll see in my next video because I'm gonna do a complete like reorganization unhaul bookshelf tour. But the books that I do want to keep, which I define as anything I want to annotate and reread and revisit often, those go on the bookshelf. As I'm saying that, that's actually not true because this is a stack of books that I haven't read yet. This is the stack of the National Book Award for Fiction long list that I'm reading through. These are actually the ones I have finished. These are the ones I need to start. And some special editions are on the bookshelf. Anyways, my book collection is very small. And those are the questions on the BookTube Newbie Tag. Thank you for sticking around with me till the end. It feels good to get this first video not out of the way, but accomplished and done. Again, my next video is going to be my bookshelf tour. Comment a book emoji and what your favorite book of 2025 has been so far. As always, I'm Olivia. Happy reading. I'll see you next time.